Well, as I was saying before I unmuted my mic, it's 4 o'clock on the dot, and here I am. I put all the stuff up so that you guys would know that I am on my way. So when I lost, I broke my other glasses, and I have to wear these giant things that cover half my face. But oh well. Yeah, I wasn't really sure how to approach this topic either. It's something I've been kind of wanting to address. Things kind of marinate in my mind for sometimes months before I even address it. But two things happened in one 2 hour period that let me know that something was spiritually pushing me to this show. Let me tell you what happened. First of all, in the morning, I usually like to lay in the bed and just check my Facebook and YouTube comments and stuff like that. I'm flipping on my phone, and I was tagged numerous times in a video of a woman. I was trying to find it so I could play it for you here, but I don't know what happened to it. And anyway, this sister was talking about the violence that is being perpetrated in the black community by young black men and how angry they are. And she was saying, we need to figure out why these babies are so angry. And she's right, because I mean, they're teenagers, most of them. Those are children. They're under 18 years old. Those are kids. But they're livid, they're angry, they're just furious, and they're acting out. And her premise was that, we need to change how we interact with them and give them, train them on how to handle their emotions and their feelings. And I thought, this was really what she said was really important. I think she said she has 3 or 4 sons of her own. She looked kind of young, so she must have had them when she was, started having them when she was young. But anyway, she has, more than 2 sons herself. And so she was talking about, from that perspective. Okay, so turn around. Not 30 minutes later, I finally get a notice. I have my main, what you call it, Facebook account that's really supposed to be mainly for my family and friends and stuff like that. But the two, and I set up one for my business stuff, but they've become kind of messed, cross merged or whatever. But anyway, I hadn't been on that one for like 2 months because I was in Facebook jail. So just this morning, I got out, right? So I go and I look at some of the messages that people had sent me, and one was from a guy talking about being a son when he was growing up and with his own sons, and how, asking me for some suggestions on what he could do to help his boys. So with those two things coming together, it's just like, okay, somebody's trying to tell me something. So I decided that that's what we would talk about today. So let me, where's his question? Find dude's question and then let you read it. So he says, I hope this message finds you well. I came across your YouTube channel. Long story short, what resources can you point me in the direction of for overcoming some of the low self-esteem slash insecurity slash histrionic issues that some black men are afflicted with? Any help would be greatly appreciated. I'm married and I have 2 boys. I'm trying to break the cycle. I thought finishing up graduate school and years of reading and self development books and church would finally serve as some deep, unfulfilled self worth hole. But I'm still hitting walls, he says. So I was like, wow. That was kind of deep. Yeah, I'm on earlier because it's Sunday, and I'm like, I need to go to bed early, so it's got shit to do tomorrow. But I wanted to get started a little earlier, especially I think this is better for my people that are on the East Coast as well. Um, Child, I stay in Facebook jail. I think last year I was in jail in Facebook more than I was on there. I started off the year, I didn't get to use my Facebook account till like June. Every time I posted something, they just knocked my ass back out. And it was fine, whatever, because I have too many other venues, so I really wasn't tripping. But talking about this, what are the issues from my perspective? There's a lot of things to discuss. I'm not going to go into any one of them too deep because we would be here for like 5 hours. But I think a lot of it has to do with our culture. in that we are the religious Christianity mentality is very big in the black community. And with that comes a lot of rules about how you're supposed to act with kids. A lot of people mistakenly think that spare the rod, spoil the child thing is a biblical mandate. It is not. It's from a poem. I forgot the details. It's on my website, though. When I researched it, I was like, wow, this is kind of deep. That's not a biblical thing. That's not. Nobody in the Bible said that. Second, there's a lot of focus on not being proud. Okay, that's, people want to be meek and humble and all this kind of stuff. Now, to me, that equates to being a slave. That's that slave shit. Yes, the mother, with your head down, shuffling, not acting like you know too much. You can't be too great because you might threaten the white people's security and all of that stuff if you know too much. They didn't want black people to even know how to read so they could keep you down. So, a lot of you absorb, still got that mindset where you want to stay low under the radar because you think that that's a safe place to be, and you might not even be consciously aware of this. So don't let it make it seem like you're choosing this. I'm asking you to check yourself because you think this stuff. Why do you think that? And if one more person tells me you're not humble, and then I have to go to fuck off on them, that just gets on my nerves. I wasn't born to be humble. I am a fucking ruler of the fucking free world. That's who I am. I rule shit. I don't be humble to no damn body. So it's like, people come at me with that. I'm like, you need to like exit my world because you just trying to rain on my parade and I don't really feel like hearing all of that. But if you have people like that who are parents, what are they going to do to their child? They're going to crush them. They're going to crush them. Every dream they have that they think is too big, everything that they want to be proud of themselves about, they're going to pour water on it. They're going to always tell them that they can't succeed. They can't do what they want to do. Their dreams are too big. That's what a lot of you parents do to your kids. And you don't even, like I'm saying, this whole point is when I come on my show, I don't, unless I know I'm talking about you because you wrote me a letter and you talking about, I'm talking to you about yourself. Okay, when I'm talking general things like this, I'm talking about things I've observed, behaviors I've noticed, things people have said. There's no one name attached to it. So I'm not talking about you per se, but I'm talking about if you behave in this way, if you think like this, and you treat your kids and yourself now this because self-esteem is not limited to children, your children and yourself like this, like I'm going to be talking about, then you are the problem. Okay, you're the problem and you need to work on that. Now, some people feel like they're being humble when they're being, kind of shy and retiring and not really tooting their own horn. But what they really are is they have a low self-esteem attack. They feel like they're not worthy. They don't shouldn't be recognized. That it's an accident that these things happen. That they don't deserve it. They didn't work hard enough for it. That's why I hate that shit. And I know it's real popular. That shit that everybody's on this bandwagon about black girl magic. Fuck magic. Magic didn't do shit for black people. This ain't magic. Every black woman that got some shit worked her ass off for it. By saying magic, that makes it sound like somebody just waved a wand and you got something with no effort, no energy, just fell out the fucking sky on you. Don't you ever use that phrase on this channel, because ain't nothing magical about black women. We bust our asses for every fucking thing we get. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, that drives me fucking crazy. Black girl magic. I know somebody thought it was cute, but you didn't think about what you were saying. That's just like stupid. Okay, so let me see. Let me address dude's letter. Shit, I wish I had some magic shit. You would see some kind of shit if I could bewitch ding a ding a ding and make some changes around here. But nobody does that. Even as hard as we work, sometimes we still get crushed. Look at what happened to Serena. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't know nothing magical about black women. Okay, we gotta bust our ass like a goddamn donkey. Okay, now let me start this conversation. First, I want to address, with this man because he's a dad. Well, this is something I feel very strongly about. It's something I've noticed, and I've talked about this numerous times. That low self-esteem is like an epidemic among people, and the people that have the ability to make it change are parents. But if you have low self-esteem yourself, it's going to be a struggle for you because you're already wounded. Sick people can't heal other sick people. They just going to spread their sickness. And that's what's happening in the black community. So, we got a bunch of sick, injured, wounded people having kids, and then they make their kids sick and wounded and injured. And that's why I want to applaud this man as a brother that wrote me, because he recognizes that and he admits it, and then he wants to fix it. He's done it, what he thinks, he's gone as far as he can by himself, and now he's asking for some input and some suggestions and some ideas for maybe some stuff that he hasn't explored. Brother, you get all kind of depth from me, because that takes a real man to do something like that, to admit that his back is up against the wall, but this man is so focused on saving his kids. You know what I mean? It's just something we just don't really get to see a lot of. So I wanted to make sure, even though he wrote this way back in August when my account was still on lockdown, I just saw it this morning, but I'm already responding to it because I feel like it's that important, and I want him to be able to start helping his boys as quickly as possible, and the rest of you as well. Now, what I first want to say is, on this channel, there are several videos about manhood and young men. One of them is, I addressed a question from a 17-year-old who asked me for suggestions about what he could do to become a man, because he didn't have any men around him at all, and he wanted some help. But, if you just type manhood into the channel, you should, pull up all the videos and have that as a keyword in the title or as one of the tags, and so that should be helpful. The second thing I want to say is, no, I was putting down Black Girl Magic, but you have to listen to that part later. Um, back in 2011, I wrote an article. It's on my blog, survivingdating.com. There's like 5 or 6, I don't know, at least 400. I think it's closer to 500, close to maybe going on 600 different articles that I've written down on that site over the last 15 years. And this one was penned in 2011, and it's entitled, "Do Most Black Men Have Low Self-Esteem?" And in that article, I was discussing some observations about the behaviors of black men, why they do the things that they do and say the things that they do. And I linked it all to extremely low, like in the toilet self-esteem. Now, so people are like, this is a term we use a lot, but a lot of people don't really understand what it means. So I had put the definition here from the National Association from Self-Esteem, who defines self-esteem as the experience of being capable of meeting life's challenges and being worthy of happiness. Now, that sounds like a very simple thing, but when you think about how that's applied, why women stay in jacked up, fucked up relationships, because they feel like that's the best they could do and they don't deserve any better. Right? People stay in low paying, fucked up jobs. People stay in raggedy ass neighborhoods where they bullets is flying past them. All kinds of stuff happen. Well, you can like it if you want to, but I don't like it because it's stupid. It don't mean shit. And it's degrading and dismissive of the effort and energy that black women exert that we have to exert just to get to half the point where the white girls just get given a ride to. Okay? By saying magic, it implies that we have some kind of something that's going to happen for us without any effort, just by hook or crook. You know what I mean? That's this very dismissive phrase. You should never ever consciously use things that put you down and degrade the effort that you put into stuff. And people just use phrase because it sounds cute, and you don't never stop to think what the fuck you saying. What are you saying about yourself? By saying black girl magic, you telling everybody that you don't have to work for shit, and that everything that you get just came to you magically. That's what you're saying. Don't use that phrase. That phrase is stupid. You say black girl work, because that's what you did to get where you were. Nothing happened by magic. Your ass worked 5 jobs and studied all night and did everything that you could do to get them degrees, and shit in debt and shit coming out, struggling to get a job, working on your resume, going on 900 different interviews to get a job at a starting salary that the white people would never get, but you took it because you wanted to get your foot in the door. That ain't nothing magical about that shit. If stuff happened for black women by magic, we wouldn't need the organizations like the NAACP and laws to make equal opportunity laws and stuff like that. We wouldn't need all of those things because we have fucking magic. All right. So anyway, the National Association of Self-Esteem breaks self-esteem into 2 parts: competency and worthiness, and examines the relationship between those 2 components. So they say that worthiness is the psychological aspect of self-esteem, defined as, basically how you think about yourself, whether or not you can live up to certain fundamental human values, such as finding meanings that foster human growth and making commitments to them in a way that lead to a sense of integrity and satisfaction. The competency component is a behavioral or sociological component of self esteem, and they define that as having the conviction that one is capable of producing desired results, having the ability and confidence in yourself and the efficacy of our mind and our ability to think, as well as make appropriate choices and decisions. So, when you have somebody who believes that they can't do nothing, that everything that happens to them is because of God or Jesus, not their work. Okay, then that's basically you're fostering a lack of competency in your own abilities. You're putting everything that happens to you in the hands of someone else. And in this case, in magic. See, no. And then people don't understand then when they get crushed and stuff and they don't try to do anything. And then they feel like, well, I didn't really, I put my faith in this, I did this and that. But you didn't actually do anything. And you didn't actually do anything because you didn't feel confident that you could succeed. And the reason why you didn't feel confident that you could succeed and why you didn't even try to get off the bench in the first place is because you have low self-esteem. And that's what keeps a lot of people from even trying. Because they feel like, well, if I can't do it perfectly, then I'm not going to do it at all. If I can't do it and win, then I'm not going to even try. If I can't hit the goal, then why should I even hit the ball at all? They want to get a home run. Well, you're not going to hit a home run. You might make it to first base. Okay, but you sitting on the bench, you ain't even up at bat. You ain't swung. You ain't even tried. And that's what we have when people have extremely low self-esteem. They stay on the bench because it's safe. They really, exactly. Well, you magical. Make that happen. Use your black girl magic. That's some bullshit. I just like, I don't know. Okay, so then I started writing. I took over from using their definitions. What is low self-esteem? Well, you people who are take things too personally, right? They always up in their feelings about everything. They can't handle rejection. They're overly defensive. They say crazy shit because they try to impress you with what they have, what they own, what they know, who they know, all that kind of stuff. Those are people with extremely low self-esteem because if you already have it like that, you don't need to brag about it. You don't need to pump it up and let everybody know. That's how you define yourself. That's just crazy. Low self esteem is associated with fear, a lack of trust, a lack of belief in yourself, and self doubt. And how many men do you know have that? They try to use all this bravado, get in people's faces and talking about what they're going to do to you. And they run around with all their boys and all this kind of stuff because they big each other up. You got a whole group of people that have low self esteem and they need each other to feel like one whole person. It's really sad when you really think about it. When you don't have confidence in yourself, a typical behavior pattern is either attempt to control those around you with judgments, arrogance, snide remarks, and contempt, or they'll put you down. They overinflate their value, their talents, and their skills because they want to act like they're superior to you. They put you down to boost their ego to make themselves feel better. But then there are people who will just sit in the corner and fill their heads with negative messages. I can't. I won't succeed. I'm not good at it. I'm not good enough. Nobody wants me. They don't like me. I'm too this. I'm too dark. It's a favorite one of black people. My hair is 4B. I'm too short. I'm too fat. I'm too uneducated. You guys just pick yourselves apart. Now, when it comes, that's women, and I've done several videos, talking about women and how they manifest their so low self-esteem. With men, unfortunately, their low self-esteem is converted into anger, which then is converted into violence. So you see a lot of them when they don't feel worthy of a woman, but they try anyway. Then she rejects them because she basically, by rejecting them, validates their belief in themselves that they aren't worthy and not good enough, and they become enraged at her when they're really angry at themselves for not being good enough. You see what I'm saying? But they don't want to accept that, so they point the finger at her and want to blame her for making them feel blah blah blah. In reality, you felt that way before her face ever showed up on the street, before you ever heard or saw her on for social media. You felt like that when your ass woke up this morning, okay? But you try to blame it on her. Y'all, yeah, no nicktails. They just off the chain. And then when guys, have low self-esteem, they tend to drown it. Alcohol, drugs, like I said, violence. They want to be in gangs and shoot up people. I mean, look at what's going on in Chicago, and violence towards people that they deem to be younger and weaker, because then they get to feel an inflated sense of power and control and dominance. It's really sad. Um, Men with low self-esteem often become very jealous and controlling of their women. They will talk themselves out of trying for good relationships because they label the woman as being something wrong. They're like, she's just a baby mama. She's hit the wall. She probably high maintenance. She only wants a thug. All of those things are ways to make themselves feel good about the fact that they know they don't measure up, that they don't feel good about who and what they are and what they have to offer a woman. So it's like all them dudes and all them little angry little groups and all of them, they all can't fucking stand themselves. They hate themselves. They hate the fact that they're losers. And then what they want to do though is try to act like it's women's fault that they're losers. No, it's your fault that you're a loser. You need to get off your ass and do something about it. And that's what this man wants to do. He wants to make sure that his kids don't suffer that fate. See, he don't want his kids to be, feeling like they need to be a MGTOW and seek to find themselves living in a hut some damn where with other men smelling like musty balls instead of having beautiful flowers and home cooked meals in front of them by a woman who loves them. So I'm like, these dudes are a trip. Well, I have a whole video already on narcissists, but you can see all of that there. Now let's talk about. I gave in this article 13 signs, 13 examples that a man has low self-esteem. And then I'm going to talk about, since this is a father writing about his son, and he says he's struggling with these things too. I'm going to first talk about how it affects men, and then I'm going to talk about what we as parents can do to prevent our boys from growing up into men with this problem. You see how I'm going to do this? Just two different kind of approaches. So those of you who have sons, you'll be particularly interested in what's going to follow in about 20 minutes. However, if you are a man, you have brothers, you have a husband, a boyfriend, a fiance, a baby daddy you live with, whatever, you may notice some of these things in him, in which case you will understand why you have, he's behaving the way that he is, and if there's anything you can do to, help him fill those holes like this guy describes. He's got a self-worth hole, and that is like the best description that I could think of. He did a really good job writing his letter. So let me talk about some of the things that I put in my 2011 article. Lack of trust in you and others. Oh, somebody from Twitch streaming. No, nobody wrote me any questions from Twitch, so I didn't come and do my show now for 2 weeks over there. You guys didn't send me any questions. So write your questions, submit your question to survivingdating@gmail.com, and then I will address it on Twitch, okay? Because I'm doing a topic today, so I'm not answering advice questions today. But if you send it in there, I promise I'll answer it on Saturday, all right? So, okay, let's talk about these things that I've put in the 2011 article. Lack of trust in you and others. Okay, if a guy tells you that he doesn't trust you, he doesn't trust people, he don't trust women, something like that, he doesn't have the confidence in himself that he can really love someone, that he can weather the storm of love, because it's up and down, up and down. I mean, it's never just a straight line or going uphill to the, it never works like that. You all might be great and then some bullshit happens and you fall off. I mean, you don't break up or anything, but you start doubting things, you question them, but then you make back up, so it's love is kind of like that. But some people don't have the confidence that they can hang on for that ride, and as soon as they hit a little bump, they want to throw the whole relationship away, they want to run away, they want to accuse you of things, they throw out that they don't trust you and all this old stuff instead of trying to work it out. that's really unfortunate because you know you're going to spend years of your life trying to prove to him that you're not like other women, and that just makes no sense. You're just wasting your time. And but that lack of trust, that's something about him where he doesn't trust other people. You can't fix that for him. Number two, these are people who are very fearful and doubtful. They're not confident and secure in themselves. They fear everything. They fear failure. They fear success. They fear going outside. I mean, they just everything. Ooh, I'm scared of that. Oh, well, I don't know. I might not do a good job. I might not know what you like. I might not want. They put it all like that, but that's what that is. That's what they're expressing is fear and doubting their capabilities to please you, right? So that's why so many brothers just run like standard issue, stupid booty game because they're not really trying to put themselves in a position where they're going to be vulnerable emotionally to somebody and be put in a position where they have demands put on them to, to please somebody and to be a positive contributor to a relationship. One of the most heartfelt things I like to watch Korean dramas and Korean shows, right? And I like to watch this show called Superman. It's about certain like celebrity families that have babies, children, young children. And it shows the father's interaction with the children and the wives. And, there's this really interesting concept. They have like cameras set up in their homes and they like track these people's lives like a reality show. Kind of like that show that Jim Carrey did where they tracked him from birth to, it's like that. So in one situation, this woman who used to be a lead singer in some music group, beautiful woman, married this guy. I mean, this motherfucker is fine. He's the CEO of some big name company over in Korea. And they have one kid. And in the show that I saw the other day, they were having, he had given her a surprise baby shower for their second child. And then they were doing an interview with him after. He's sitting there next to her and he's holding the first baby. And she's telling everybody, he set this whole thing up. He decorated, he invited, he did everything all by himself. And she was saying to the camera, he's so good to me. He makes me so happy. And I got choked up. I mean, the way she was getting choked up and he was just beaming. Okay, that's what every woman wants to be able to say about her husband. You know what I mean? That's what we want to be able to say about our men. But you got a guy who's got low self-esteem. He's going to be so doubtful that he could do anything on that level or please a woman like that. He's not even going to try. He doesn't want to hear about how he might have done better. Because, most women are going to be happy. Yeah, it's Return to Superman. That's the name of it. I love that show. Oh, The Truman Show. There you go. So, luckily, you guys are here for my failing memory. Oh, and here we go. I got a new flavor of my LaCroix. This one's called apricot. It's apricot. So I can't wait to try it. It does faintly taste like apricots. Okay. But yeah, I was so impressed. If you look for like surprise baby shower, you can see the show that I'm talking about. And it was so moving for her to say that. Another thing that men have the low self-esteem say they can't make a decision about anything. They can't make a decision. They want to be, they want to call themselves a man and they want to be the leader and they want to be the, head of the household and all this stuff. But you have to be, oh no, no wine, not yet. um, you have to be able to make sound decisions if you want to have people follow you and you be in a position of leader. Okay? Then you have to be able to prove that you can make sound decisions and reason and logic and not get overly emotional and fly off the handle and, fuck it, and start flying things around and acting stupid. So if you got a guy who does, histrionic, oh, I get this at the grocery store. I shop at Alameda Natural Grocery, but I think they even have them at Bevmo now. They're everywhere. Safeway, Lucky's, I mean, all the big grocery stores. Haven't seen them at Trader Joe's, though, but that doesn't mean that they're not, like in some other locations. Um, so, these guys, they can't really make a decision about what to do, so they don't really tend to do anything. What does that do? That makes you have to do it. So he's talking about he's a leader and stuff, but you have to do everything because he can't make a fucking decision. Or the ones that he makes are so ass backwards, you still have to just go around, running around behind him, correcting them. So I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm going to give you some solutions in a few minutes. Hold on, y'all jumping the gun. Dang, the show just started. You may have a guy who's critical. He's pessimistic. Everything is, it's fucked. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Nothing's right. Everything is all messed up. All things are messed up. He likes to use the word all and everything and, just make everything sound so fatalistic all the time. There's like no joy, no life forms left on his planet. With his, if you go by his opinion. Nothing is. He's never going to see anything as being having a good outcome. It's just never going to happen. Feelings of shame. They feel ashamed of themselves. Now, a lot of this can be rooted in child abuse. You know, child abuse is really bad. But these are people that's going to look to money, fame, their physique, their skin color, their hair, how many women they done tapped, stuff like that to make themselves feel like they're somebody. That's not coming from inside. That's something that they want to have that other people will approve of them for. So they're seeking external validation. You see what I'm saying? And it's one thing that's nice to have those things, don't get me wrong. But those things can go up in a puff of smoke and be stolen tomorrow, burned down. Then what? Who are you then? Who you are as a person has to be carried with you everywhere you go. No matter what you drive, no matter what clothes are on your back, no matter where you rest your head at night, and no matter what job is giving you a paycheck. You have to feel good about who you are as a person 24/7 no matter where you are, and that is the true sign of someone with confidence and self-esteem. Most people they can't do that. When you have people that have low self-esteem, they're very future fearful. What does that mean? Since they don't feel like they really have any power to manifest what it is they're looking for and to make shit happen, they project fear and disaster into the future. Oh, well, if I do that, then this and that and this might happen. And which is like, okay, it could. But then these other things that's really good could happen too. And these are more likely to happen than that. But that's all they can see is the negative, the failure, the trauma, the drama, the pain, the loss. And that's where it becomes a real problem when you have people like that raising children. You teach your children to be fearful and to not try and to cower and to fail because you project your fears onto them. And I've seen that a lot. So I'm not just talking out the side of my head here. This is what happens. Oh yeah, they call them Debbie Down. Except I don't like the Debbie part. Let's call them Dorothy Downers. Denise Downers. Somebody. Um. Okay. And so I put inability to handle rejection or criticism, perfectionism, self-limiting. They're unforgiving. They have very unrealistic expectations of themselves and others. They live in the past. Anything that happened to them that hurt them, that they cause them pain, whatever, they want to stay living in that shit. They can't let that shit go for nothing. That's what happens to all these MGTOWs. They come on here, they got divorced 30 years ago and still talking about some shit that happened in high school and how somebody divorced them when they was 21. And now they in their 50s. Motherfucker, for real? You still talking about that shit? See, that's what I'm talking about. Low self-esteem. And then the belief in, like I said earlier, the world is going to hell in a handbasket because they feel like, why try since everyone's going to die and the planet's going to die from global warming and blow up in smoke. Whatever. They all have these very negative, there you go. I like that one too, daring downers. So let's talk about how you, sir, would raise a confident child. Now, first, like I said, the first thing is something that you are going to have to look at in yourself first. You have to look at yourself. What is it about you that makes you feel like that you're worthless? Take a look at that. I mean, you could read books and all this stuff and all that, you could do other things. Like I said, the external things that people will validate you for having a degree, having a master's, higher education, having a great job, having a beautiful wife and family. I mean, those are all external things. But what about you? Why is it that you feel poorly about yourself? Where did that start? Who told you that you weren't good enough? Why did you listen to them? I mean, as a kid, yeah, you don't pretty much have a choice, but as an adult, you can logically assess those messages that you were given and unhear them. because you know that the person who told them to you were sick because they were sick and sick people spread sickness. But now that you're an adult, you have a choice on how you live your life. You can choose to continue to hang on to that stuff, or you can choose to let it go. It's a choice at this point. Okay, you're a big boy now. So when you have a children, when you have little kids, this is where a lot of people mess up because I've observed this. Okay, you're, like say you're on a bus or something, right? The parent, you got a little kid or two with you. The little kid is like, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, trying to get your attention. You in your phone, you say what? Absent-mindedly. You just missed an opportunity to raise your child's confidence and self-esteem. Now, let me tell you how that works. When you're with someone who's trying to get your attention and you don't give it to them, well, you know how what they feel like? Like they're not worth getting your attention. They're unworthy. You just taught your child that they're not worth shit by you ignoring them like that. All you had to do is if you're doing something and it is urgent, you look at your child and you say, you know, Bobby, mommy will be with you in 1 second because I need to just finish this one thing right here, okay? And then you will have my full attention. Can you wait for 30 seconds? Yes, mommy. Smiling, okay? Because now they know you just got this to do, and then you're gonna be all theirs. And you've taught your child patience, your child will sit there. You will send your text or whatever it was you was trying to do, check your email, whatever. You will put your phone away. You will put your child into your lap if it's a small child, or you will turn to the child and you will engage your child. You will talk about what's going on. You will teach your child things. That kind of car is this. That look at the building. That's called architecture. That blah 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 blah. Use these as opportunities to bond with your children. Kids remember all that kind of little shit. You think that is, you have to do some big thing and take them on special trips and all this kind of stuff. Just sitting there telling your child a story. My daughter still remembers I made up this story one time. We had a BART. We was on BART. Those of you who live in the Bay Area know that Bay Area Ratchet Transit. We call it that BART, but it's ratchet. And it got stuck in a tunnel or some shit, and so we were sitting there, and so there was a couple of little kids in the area, and they was getting antsy because 10 minutes had gone by, the train wasn't moving, and we're in a dark tunnel. So I started making up a story about this little bird, and the bird was called Chucky. She still remembers the story. And I was talking about how Chucky was in the tree, and Chucky was actually a girl, and it had laid eggs and stuff, and her bird babies hatched, and how she used to get the food and stuff and feed the babies. And then one day they was gonna do some work on the street, and she got scared because she thought they was gonna, hurt her baby. So then she was dive bombing the people and pecking them in the head. And so then they had to put up a sign around the tree that says, angry bird with, new chick, stay away. And I made this whole story up, and all the little kids around were sitting there fascinated, hearing this story about this bird. I just made this shit up as I went along. But it was engaging for them. I made it funny, and it's true. And and I was paying attention to them. That's all little kids want is your attention. You don't have to do anything fabulous with them. Just talk to them. And when they come to you and you try they try to get your attention, always acknowledge them. Don't just say, shut up, leave me alone. And, say, I'm really busy right now. Mommy will read you a story in a little while, or mommy will watch the show with you in 5 minutes. Whatever you're going to do, put some parameters on it, because they do need to know that you need time for yourself as well. I mean, that's a part of what you teach them too, is respect for others' time. But it makes no sense. I see little kids constantly trying to get their parents' attention. They want to show them their picture. It takes you 30 fucking seconds to look at the kid's picture. Your fucking phone you can put that damn phone down. You send a text and shit, that's not going to go anywhere. You put that down and you look at the kid's picture and you don't understand what it is because some fucking scribbles. But to them, it means something. So you sit down and you ask them and say, okay, tell me what this is. You don't say, this is just some bullshit ass scribbles. Bam. That's not what you do. You say, well, tell me, what were what was the concept that you were going for here, Picasso? My little artiste. Something, tell something like that. And then you make fun, you have fun with them, let them tell you what's what in the story. You say, oh yeah, I think from this angle I can see that. Yeah, yeah. And you just talk to them. Okay, use your imagination with them. That kind of stuff is to I mean, it's just so enriching for a child's life. It just makes them so excited. They make their little clay things. It don't look like nothing. They make a coil that they say, "Mommy, it's a snake." And then, okay, you just looking at the roll of clay, and it's like, okay. But inside that child made, their imagination, they've made a snake. So you have to ask them, well, what kind of snake is it? Tell me. I'm not that good about snakes like you are. You see what I'm saying? See how that goes? And then they're going to go into their imagination, or they're going to pull out something that they learned from school about snakes or something. And you guys have created a moment. Now, how does that make your child feel? Important, heard, validated, loved. And if you fill them with say things like, wow, you just really are learning so well at school. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. You got to be on your test. That's really great because you really are working. You really worked hard. And blah, blah, blah. Don't say, like, you should have got an A. If your kid went from a C to a B, that's improvement. Acknowledge it. Okay. And help them get the grade up even higher if that's important to you. You know what I mean? I mean, you, you guys just be destroying your kids. And I'm not saying that you're doing it on purpose, you know. But I'm just pointing these things out because these are things that I see a lot in the parents. I know everybody's busy. I know everybody's tired. I know a lot of you are single mothers and you getting pulled from both fucking ends. I understand it. But you have to acknowledge the fact that, interacting with your child in a creative way will help them learn faster. It helps them become better people. It sparks the growth in a part of their brain that makes both sides work well together. So it's going to help your child in the long run. And, instead of letting your kids watch TV so much, take your kids to the library. It can become a family event. And while you're there, you help them pick big books about what they're interested in so they can learn more. Okay? Yeah, I know I have some friends that are that are Chinese and man, and Korean and stuff. Ooh, honey, their parents are rough. They are rough. Yeah, you got to get an A, and they got they a 4.25 grade point average from the A fleet classes. But that is true. But I'm not talking about that particular part of it. I'm talking about the interaction of the parents with the child about other stuff. I mean, culturally, I'm not gonna touch that because that's a cultural thing. That's how Chinese and Korean people, whatever else, are. They've been like that forever. That's gonna continue till after I'm long dead, and so we ain't gonna really mess with that. That's between them kids and them parents. But I'm talking about primarily right now. This guy who wrote me was African American, and he's talking about his African American children. Of course, all children suffer from low self esteem, so I'm not limiting to that, but I am directing my comments in a focused manner towards the culture of which this guy is, because he's the one who suggested this topic. Oh, I do? Thanks, Lady Boss, for bringing it to my attention. I missed it. I'm running my mouth so hard. Well, whoever did it and however much it is, I missed it. But thank you. I always appreciate. I mean, I don't care if it's $1. Everybody, showing that they support me. I'm all over that. Yeah, you do. You love the books. You love the quietness. I okay, so let me talk about that. So let's talk about I want to give you an example of something that my mother did. When you give your child choices, they must be within parameters where all the choices are safe for them. Okay, that's how you teach them to make decisions. You don't just do like some parents do and just throw their kids out there. We see this every year when it's time for them to go to college. They don't know nothing. You didn't teach them nothing. They can't cook. They can't clean. They don't know how to iron. They don't know how to do laundry. Nothing. And you send them to college and then they fail. They have all kind of problems. So my mother used to do. We used to shop. We used to get our school clothes from like the Sears and J.C. Penney and what those Montgomery Ward catalogs. And I was little because I remember I wore like size 6 and 6X, so that's how small I was. And they would have all these little dresses, pictures of these little dresses on a page, right? And you would get like, I don't know, say 3 dresses for $25 or something like that. And the little, I was small, so she would say, okay, look at this page here and pick 3 of the dresses that you like. Okay, she let me pick them, but we already knew what the parameters were because it was going to be this, $30 or whatever it was. And That was what I was gonna get. It was gonna have to be one of these dresses on this page. But for me, that was like, oh my God, I get to pick it, and it was like this sense of pride and accomplishment because I picked the dress. And then when the dress would come, they delivered the dress, and I put the dress on with my little socks, my little Mary Janes, my little Oxford loafers or whatever. I was so proud because this is the dress I picked, and look how pretty I look in it. My daddy would always tell me how pretty I looked, and my brothers would be like, oh, you look so cute, So it's that kind of thing that builds up somebody's confidence and that you make a decision and it was a good decision. Okay, that's what you have to do for your kids. You set them up that way. Um, so give your kids choices. Okay. I don't have I think you have to have 50 subscribers before you can do that, and I last time I looked I only had like 36 or something. I just started on Twitch. So I haven't really done much over there yet. But I'm trying, and it's like since I'm not a gamer, it's kind of a struggle to get, a lot of people, but I'm slowly getting my name known. Okay, so that's one thing. The another thing is you guys got to stop doing everything for your goddamn sons like they're infants. Okay? Why you got a son who's 16 and you still cleaning up his room and making up his bed and doing his laundry? He should be doing all of that for himself. He's going to be he is a young man. Young men need to know how to take care of themselves. They don't need to still be being taken care of by their mama like they too. Stop that. You make them do some goddamn chores in the house. I've never seen such a bunch of useless, shiftless ass kids. These women got all these sons, women working like a slave and stuff, coming in, dragging groceries. The sons sitting on the couch playing video games. You need to get your ass up and get them groceries out the car. I'll shop for them. I'm not bringing shit in the house. You bring them in the house and you put them up too. See, that's what I mean. You guys got to do more. You got to give your son, chores for a child lets the child feel like they're part of the house. They feel a sense of accomplishment. When the house is clean, yeah, we cleaned it. When the house is, there's dishes and food and they clean the windows and they do all this stuff, they live there too. So they need to feel a part of a responsibility. That's how you foster a responsibility and accountability in your children. How else are they supposed to learn it? You can't be doing everything for them. This is just really crazy. I just don't understand it. You don't and you don't make other children. They're gonna make some fucked up decisions. You know what I mean? You try when they're a little small, you give them parameters, but once they start getting their teens, you got to kind of let them go a little bit. They're going to fuck up. They're going to fuck up. But hopefully you've put in, some good work to teach them how to think things through and make a good decision so that they don't mess up everything. And that's how you teach them, though, by not doing everything for them. That gets them on the track. You have to reinforce to them that not everyone is perfect. Okay? People are going to make mistakes. That's just part of life. As I was explaining to my daughter the other day, the only people that don't ever make a mistake are the people who never try to do anything. They never fail because they don't do shit. So how you gonna fail when you don't do shit? You just sitting there like a bump on a log. Overwatch. Oh God, I have to figure out how to play. Oh my God. And he's only 6. See, that's what I'm talking about. Get that boy in line. Girl, there's 16-year-olds that won't even do that. Their mothers don't make them do nothing. And running interference. They want to cut in front of them. It's just too much. Overwatch. Well, I have to ask my daughter about that and see if she can teach me. He throws everything everywhere. How old is this child? Bad Winch, how old is your son? I'm being nosy. He's 4. He tidies his room. That's what he's supposed to do. He loves to sort clothes and dark. Very good. That's what I'm talking about. They can do that. In that show, they had a little boy. The one boy was running errands, going to the store and stuff, and he's only 5. Going and getting stuff, and they give him tell him 2 or 3 things to do. He makes 2 stops. He took a letter to the post office. Of course, the camera people are with him, but he's going by himself. Oh, okay, he's only 3. Well, he still has to learn about not to be doing that. This is what my mama did. I'm gonna tell you. You throw shit everywhere if you want to. She would come along behind you and pick it up and throw it away. So we all did that exactly one time. Cause then your favorite shit be going like into the garbage can, and you see it out there at the curb. They was not playing. So your shit went in the trash. You throw it on the floor, that means you don't want it no more. Because otherwise you would put it up like I asked you to. And you didn't, you left it there. So I'm cleaning up now, and anything on the floor is going into the trash. And that's what my mother, I'm telling you, we all did one time. That's all that shit took. But once we was cured. Cured. It was unbelievable. Yeah, but see that thing. Exactly. Teach boys this, and not only that, when you let them do stuff like that, see, he helped do that. Do you know how much pride he felt in himself from that? See, that's what I'm saying. The sense of accomplishment. It was a finished product. He could sit there with his little in his Superman pose and be like, "Yes, I did that." And it makes the kids feel good. You know what I mean? These are things you guys have got to stop loosen the reins and stop treating these boys like babies. Make them perform. Make them do shit. Make them work. Make them contribute. Don't let them be shiftless. Okay? Don't do stuff for them. Now, when we talk about praise, oh, did you? Honey, yes. Trash. I'm telling you, that shit worked. My dog was in the trash can peeping up. I was crying my eyes out. But after that, we didn't do it. My mom said, "Pick your shit up off the floor, honey." My stuff, before she could even finish the sentence, my stuff was off the floor. So now, this is when, some parents do too much for their kids and they give their kids a false sense of self esteem. And now, what does that mean? That means that every single thing that the child does, this is part of that trophy, everybody get what they call a participation trophy mentality. Everything the kid does, the kid spits. "Oh my God, that was the best spitting ever. My Johnny is such a brilliant spitter. He's going to go to Harvard because he spits so well." Okay, don't do that. Okay, your kid does just, regular shit. You thank them. Okay, your kid's supposed to wash the dishes. Your kid washes the dishes. You say, "Thank you for washing the dishes." That it's good when you are do what you're supposed to do. It means you're a man of your word. You see what I mean? So you're thanking him and you reinforce man of your word. Oh, okay. So if I tell her I'm gonna do something and then I do it, I'm a man of my word. Yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be a man of my word. So you reinforcing that positive message, but you're not gushing. "Oh my God, you washed the dishes. You just do the best dishwasher, Johnny. I just have never seen anyone wash dishes as well as you. We should be in the Olympics for dishwashing." Don't be doing all that kind of shit. But you thank him for doing what he's supposed to do. He rakes the yard. He's supposed to rake the yard. Say, "Great, the yard looks really nice now. Maybe we should, grill some burgers out here or something. What you think?" Okay, so he gets a reward of some big grilled burgers and shit, some Kool-Aid or whatever out in the yard that he just raked. So he can sit there and like, "Yeah, the grass looks really nice. I did that." You see what I'm saying? You give your kids a compliment, but you don't gush over them. Now, if they're doing something and they're really striving, like they want to learn to play a new instrument, or they want to get this A on this test, and they study their little ass off or something, and then they get that A, they accomplish that goal. Okay, then you can make a little bit more of a fuss. Then we get out with the high fives, the fist bumps, the hoorahs, and maybe call up grandma and tell her, let the kid hear you doing it. That kind of stuff. You give them a little extra on something like that because they put forth extra effort, so you give them an extra response. But just doing the stuff they're supposed to do. Of course, you be polite. You treat your children the way you would anyone else because you're trying to teach them consistency, productivity, accountability, and responsibility. So you do acknowledge what they do. Do not be like these people. "Well, that's what they don't be humble. I don't need to thank you. I don't need to say you look good because you're gonna get a big head. You're not gonna think that you're gonna be prideful. You're gonna be this and that." You want your child to have some pride in him or herself. Especially this is important for young men, and you want them to do it in a way where it comes from within, from what they do, not from what you do for them or what you tell them that they are. You want them to be able to self-manifest the good feelings that they have about themselves, and that's what's missing in the black community. They don't do that. You guys are missing that a lot. Okay. Another thing that people do is compare their children to each other, compare them to other friends' kids or somebody in their class or something like that. Don't do that. Each child is individual. Each child is going to learn differently. Each child is going to perform differently. And there's no one way to do that. So saying, well, why can't you get an A in math like Johnny did? Because, that means your brother's smarter than you and blah, 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 blah. Okay, you just destroyed your child. Your child, I mean, where's the motivation for them to try to be better, to be competitive with Johnny because you just creamed them and told them that they're never going to be as good as Johnny, so why the fuck even try? That's what you did. Instead of saying, wow, I have two really great children. And so maybe that kid's not that good in math, but that kid gets straight A's in English or science, So then you acknowledge that. Say, well, this kid is really fabulous at math and this kid is really fabulous at writing. So between the two of you, maybe you can write a book about math. Make a joke. I mean, I don't know. This is something just come off the top of my head. But I mean, you're praising both children and acknowledging their skill set and not making it a competition. And you're setting them up to work together. Okay, that's how my parents did it. So me and my brothers and we were good at different things, but my parents always had it in their mind that we was going to form a company and work together. Each one of us bringing our talents and skills. So that was the mindset we always had. Each one of us was very proud of the component that we was going to bring to this family business once we got to be an adult. So we never felt like we was in competition, and everybody strived to get A's. And then we got a little older. My father came with this idea: if everybody who got an A got $10, shit, we were some straight A making motherfuckers because everybody was like, yeah, that's how that happened. So you got to figure out what motivates your child, and then go for that. For me it was money. For my brothers it was money too. And he said that we was like, oh, you got some A's coming right up, and we all walked up in there with a straight A report card. We wasn't thinking about nothing else but that. They weren't taught these things. You're right, though. And that's why when this guy's letter, where he says, let me put it back up here so we can see this again, and he's saying right here at the bottom, he says he wants the, what did he say? He wants to break the cycle. I'm married with two boys. I'm trying to break the cycle. So when somebody says they're trying to break the cycle, that means, he's acknowledging that he didn't have that skill set. He wants his kids not to suffer that. So he's trying to learn so that his children don't have to, to go through that. Well, he's only 3. Don't bribe him at 3. You got to get your bluff in first. And this wasn't really bribery. See, bribery is different. Bribery is if you do blah, 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 I'll give you blah, blah, blah. Now, they need to be doing it because you said so. Now, with us, we already got good grades. We were, with A's and stuff. But he was trying to see if we could get all A's instead of, maybe 5 A's and 1 B, or 4 A's and 1 and 2 B's, something like that. We all got really good grades anyway, but just to knock those B's up to A's, and so we all did it. But, so say the kid, well, if you take out the garbage, I'll buy you a game. Or if you, take a bath today, I'll get you. No, you're going to do it because I said so. Those are regular things, nothing stellar and special. And, incidental, once a quarter kind of thing. Those are his required chores. Like, you get a paycheck and you know that you're going to get it because you showed up for work every day for 2 weeks and now this payday and that's what you get. But you try that shit, well, yeah, oh, boss, yeah, I'll come to work, if you give me $50 now. Watch how fast your ass gets fired. That's essentially what you're teaching your child by doing that they don't have to do anything unless they get an immediate reward for it. No. That's a bad message to send. Because then they're going to be expecting shit. They're going to have that sense of entitlement, and you don't want that. You want them to do what they're supposed to do because they are responsible young men, and they know that they're going to do what they are supposed to do. That's why these men be expecting to get a round of applause at a fucking parade when they babysit their own kids. They call it babysitting. They're babysitting. No, motherfucker, you being a daddy. But see, that was the kind of dynamic because they took care of their kids, which is something they're supposed to do because they're the father. Then suddenly, everybody wants to make a parade about it and applaud them and tell them how special and wonderful they are for doing that. And I am in disagreement with that. You don't want to call your children's names or, be sarcastic with your children. They're going to understand tone of voice, even if they don't understand the words. You don't want to do that. You don't want to treat them that way. It's very important that you Yeah, they're showing favoritism, like one kid's better and the other one's not. It sets the kids up for a lot of resentment, as they go forward in life. They resent each other. You want them to be a team. You don't want them to be fighting each other and hating each other. That's not, you don't want to set them up like that. So I think a lot of parents, too, a lot of fathers, yes, I do, but I stopped at a bachelor's degree because I was like, fuck it. I did some master's coursework, but I didn't feel like finishing. So there you go. A lot of parents, a lot of fathers rather, don't want to hug and kiss on their children, especially their boys. It's like this thing where they kind of feel like it's homophobic kind of something or something. And so they don't want to, like, you got kids, 7 or 8 years old, the fathers don't want to touch their sons. Those are still babies. They still need you to hug them and, kiss on them and stuff, and pat them up and, pat them, whatever you're going to do. And then when you got a teenage son, they trying to be all hard and all this kind of stuff. Those are the ones that need your hugs the most. Don't let them get away with that, trying to push you away and stuff. You just grab them and hug them anyway. You don't have to be kissing them on their cheeks and stuff like you would if you was a baby. They were still babies. But, mothers do that. But as a dad, you don't have to do all that. But you should still hug your son, ruffle his hair, tell him you love him, pat him on the back, give him daps and fist pumps and all that kind of stuff. Physical contact with your child to show that's an affectionate touch for him. Boys need that too. Otherwise, then they think they're gonna be getting it from girls, and then next, your 16-year-old son's gonna be coming on with some goddamn baby. But if you let him feel warmed and loved and hugged and enveloped like that at home, then he won't be so quick to go out looking for it other places. And the same with your daughters. Um, I'm a big believer in nighttime cuddles and bedtime stories. Up until like my when I got to be about 12, um, I took over reading the stories to my younger brothers, and or maybe I was even younger than that. Come to think of it, my mother just retired, and so then I took over reading to him, and he liked when read it better because I was I would change voices. I had voices for each character and stuff. Like, the baby bear. Blah, 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 blah. So I made it more and more interesting. My mother would just read the story. And if I was somebody older, so he just got a big kick out of that. He thought that was funny. Um, Goal setting. Let's talk about goal setting for children. Do you guys set goals for your children? It's part of building their self-esteem and confidence. Okay, so say your child, uh, I don't know, wants to, play soccer or something. Okay, so the part of playing soccer to get on the soccer team, they have to be able to run. Okay, so your goal is your child wants to make the soccer team. So you find out what the basic requirements are to be on the soccer team, and you start working with your children on the weekend or after school or something. And you go to the park and they run and they run and run, and they're trying to get their little speed up so they can do this. I don't know, 50-yard dash or whatever it is in so much time. So you standing with your little speed clock and you coaching them and you encouraging them and you doing everything, and every time they knock a second off, you big round. Okay, so then your kid makes it on the soccer team. Do you know how proud your child is going to be of himself? And do you know how great your child's gonna be that you put in all that time to help them? See what I mean? Little stuff like that. That's the shit that when kids are older, that they remember about their parents. The vacations and stuff. That's we remember those too. But that really builds our bond to our parents and makes us feel like we are some solid together folks. Is the time that you spend with your child developing, and it really doesn't take that long. It's not that much time a day. I don't know, an hour, of like intermittent times talking to them and, focusing on them and stuff. With our busy schedules and they go to bed early and get up and all that stuff, it's not that much time available like it used to be. But if you devote a solid hour of full attention to your child on a daily basis, it will change their life. Change their life. Your mom is not the huggy or touchy type, but your dad is. If I don't hug her, we don't hug. Oh, wow, that's sad. What if what? Your friend's son brings a gun home and he doesn't want him to call the cops on him, but he won't stop being a ganger. What can she do? Call the cops on him. I mean, my thing is this. Sometimes, you got to go hard on your kids if you want to really save them. By not calling the cops on them, and, you can call him because, I mean, he hasn't actually done a crime yet, except to bring this gun home. And whose gun is it? You know, whose gun is it? And why does your son have the gun? And why is your son so stupid that your son brought the gun home? See, I have more questions about that. Your son is a dummy. Because, with my parents, that would have never happened. Let me tell you why. I was too afraid of my father. My father would have kicked my ass to the fucking moon trying to bring a gun up in the house. No. Guns, drugs, none of that. None of that. No. No. That little bubble would have popped up, a little thought bubble. If I do this, will I live through it? And then the other bubble pop up. Hell no, your ass is going to be 6 feet under right quick. So the decision is, you want me to take it home? Nope, not doing it. You do some, give it to somebody else. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That kid is dumb. That's the kid that I'm saying that's looking, that doesn't have any, that needs some validation. So he's getting it by trying to be a tough guy, for people could say, well, he's tough, he got a gun and all this sort of stuff. So that he's like bigging himself up. Whereas if he had gotten self-esteem built up and stuff at home, then he wouldn't be looking for that. He would be too tied to his parents, and respecting them and caring for them and honoring himself, that wouldn't even have been an issue. But he's needing that outside validation, and that's a kid that's going to get in some trouble because he's a follower, not a leader. When kids follow behind other people and do stupid shit, that's when problems start. You got to teach your kid to have a mind of their own. Well, the kid doesn't necessarily have to be a bad influence like what you mean. Sometimes, the parents have a gun and the kids are just stupid kids. And so they take the gun to school because they want to get, like I'm telling you, the props that they're going to get from looking like the big shot around their friends. Ooh, so-and-so got a gun. So it's like they like a gangster or something. They feel like that's going to build them up. So that doesn't mean that there's a bad kid. He's just a kid who needs something that, some outside influence and stuff. He hasn't done anything with the gun. He ain't shot anybody. He probably don't even know how to. He just has the gun at school, and it's just so dumb. Oh, yeah. Girl, 75%, you was good. Mine was 99.9%. I did like one thing, I'm telling you, one thing. My parents jumped in my ass so hard, I thought death would have been easier than having to deal with them two. And you saw the picture of them the other day. They look so sweet, just so pleasant. My mother looks so pretty and delicate and dainty and stuff. My daddy just looked all calm, cool, and collected. Bum niggas was no. Just, their faces would change. It was like they would like turn head whip around like the Exorcist, and then they would just turn into some kind of nut. Just no, I'm cool. I always thought about my parents, and then I would think my friends were trying to give me some shit, and I'm like, oh hell no, my parents. They're like, yeah, you ain't, forget it. We forgot. We forgot we asked you. You survived, shit. You lucky girl. I wasn't even trying it because I was afraid of my father. My father was a little short, strong man, and he could put a refrigerator on his back and carry it by himself upstairs. Now who gonna fuck with that? Who is going to do anything with that? He had to punch my oldest brother in the chest one time. My brother didn't have no air. We seriously got scared. We thought he was gonna die. He was gasping for air for so long. My mother was thinking she was gonna need to do CPR on that nigga. But finally he breathed. And then after that, when he made it up, he never fucked with my father again. He tried to get in his face. My daddy stepped back and went, boop, right in the solar plexus. And my brother went down, knocked all his air out. So, nope, I'm not doing that. I don't even recommend that. Okay, so we talked about the goal setting. Another thing that you can do is watch when you criticize your child. Now I see a lot of parents, what they do is and men do this to women too. You don't talk about the behavior. That's why I always stress when people say, you hate black men. No, I'm talking about black men who do this thing. So if you don't do this thing, then I'm not talking about you. And when people act like that, I can tell that they were a child that was raised this way that I'm getting ready to talk about. And that way is where you were always blamed and they didn't talk about your behavior, they talked about you. So you as an adult, you take everything as a personal attack instead of looking at the behavior that someone is talking about. So if I'm talking about, your child did something, your child, I don't know, didn't do their homework, and then they lied about it. Okay, instead of saying, you're a damn liar, you just lie about everything. I can't trust you. You never tell me the truth about things. How are you going to be? You're just a terrible child. Okay, people do that. People do that. But that's not how you handle it. What you do is you sit down with your child and you say, okay, you knew that you were supposed to do your homework, correct? Yes, mommy, daddy, whatever. But you didn't do it. No. Okay, but you lied to me and you said that you did. And they're going to either say yes or they're just going to look all, confused and scared. So then you say, what I'm going to tell you this one more time, and then you're going to be on a punishment. You do not lie to me. You do not lie. If you did not do it, then you have to be man enough, this is your young son now, man enough to say that you didn't do it. Okay, because that's what men do. Men don't dodge responsibility, they accept it. That's what real men do. If you want to grow up and be a real man, this is a lesson that you need to learn. Yes, I did it. Or no, I didn't do it, and I know I was supposed to. And secondly, now you're going to have to, okay, thank you. I will check it out. Thank you. I'll look at it and see how bad I am. Um, don't attack your child. You don't like make these general sweeping dismissals of your child as a person. You talk about what the child did. The child snuck a candy bar into the house and got chocolate on your white couch. The child this is okay. You give the child some scrubbing stuff, and you make the child clean it up. And then you lecture the child about appropriate behavior, and that was not something. And then you give them a punishment. Part of the punishment was cleaning it, because trust me, cleaning chocolate off of furniture, that is some scrubbing. But that's the kind of thing, you don't clean it. I remember shit. I was 4 years old. I don't even know if I was four yet, and my Picasso took over, honey. And my grandmother gave me some new crayons for my birthday. You know how you get that long box? I think it was 64 crayons in there. And honey, it had a little sharpener and stuff. I still remember it. I was four. I still remember that, because my first my big box of crayons, not the kitty crayons, the fat ones. These were the real crayons, the skinny ones, that I was so excited. So I took my things, and she gave me some paper, and I didn't want to use the paper. So my mother, there in the other room, right, talking and everything, we had this hallway with a big white wall. Guess who drew on the wall? Guess whose mama came around that corner and saw my artwork on the wall? And then guess whose mama went down the hall, got a bucket and a rag, and told me to commence to clean up crap. It took me hours to clean up. Do you know to this day my ass won't write on the wall? When they still had phone books and people would write a phone number because they didn't have a piece of paper, they would write the phone number on the wall. I couldn't do it. I was like some serious aversion therapy that she gave my little ass. And so, that's what I'm saying. You can teach your kids stuff without beating on them. You fuck with their mind. But that takes effort. It takes some energy that a lot of parents don't want to exert. They just like to beat on folks. And it's just like you said, she's still a liar. Yep. That's kind of a personality thing, but, you know, not too much you can do about it, but you try to encourage them to tell the truth. You give them the proper messages, but like I said, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. Yeah, honey, I'm telling you, my parents, oh, they were something else. Then we're going to talk about how children feel. Validating your children's feelings. Okay, so your kid falls down and your kids bust up their knee and they're holding their pants and blood's everywhere. This is what a lot of fathers will do. Oh, stop that crying, boy. Stop that crying. Be a man. Suck it up. You ain't that hurt. Okay, you don't know what, the kid might need stitches. The kid might have like a broken bone, a fracture or something. You don't know what the boy's got and why he's screaming like that. But here you are telling him that what he's saying hurts him doesn't hurt. You're invalidating his experience and invalidating his feelings because you don't want to be bothered with it. That's what that is. And when you do that, you crush your child. You make your child see like what their experience is not important and that it's not even worth having, or they're not even worth you listening to because you're just gonna dismiss it like it just never even happened. Their heart's broken. Some little boy broke a little girl broke his heart and he's upset about it. Oh, be a man, just go get another woman. That's and that, man. And it's like you just totally, you guys are just, you do this stuff and you think that's manhood, but what you're really doing is teaching your boys that they can't feel anything except anger. Anger and horniness are the only two emotions that males are allowed, and you're training your young boys that this is so. They're not allowed to express their hurt, their confusion, their broken heart, their grief. Why? I mean, they're still kids. I mean, no nobody, no grown ass man walking around crying about every fucking thing. No, you can't do that. But we're talking about kids here. And we're talking about children in their parents. And these are usually little kids, 3, 5, 7 years old. And the people tell them that, stop that crying, boy. You just acting like a little bitch. Man. You acting like a girl. Girls don't even cry that much. Man. And you just shame the child. Oh, it's a carryover from slavery. They even call it whipping, getting a whipping. What is that? Slave master term. Come on now. That's all that is. Even the style that they do it, making the kid lay down or, bend over something. That's some shit, carryover shit from slavery. I don't know why people don't connect those dots. You don't need to pound on your kids. You fuck with your kid's head. If you're a good parent, you know how you would motivate your child and what your kids think. You know how to fuck your kid up with just a few choice words. And then, that has way more of an impact on them than beating on them ever would. Because all it doesn't make them angry. Although, if you have badass kids like my brothers, whew, man, my father had to do the double whammy with them. He would beat their ass and fuck with their head because they just was something else. Especially the oldest two. They oof. I don't know. Sometimes I used to wonder if they were adopted or something. Because they this is like off the chain. Except for the fact that like I said, we all look alike. So, you knew that. But good Lord. What happened to you? Um, do you guys, when you're around your child and other people are around, do you talk positively about your child? Instead of saying stuff like, well, she can't do nothing right, or the other day I had to tell her this 5 times, or her room is always a mess. She this, she that, he this, she that. Do you ever just, just do that away from the ears of other people? I mean, because that's definitely something you need to get on your child about. But do you need to say that in front of all these people? These women be on Facebook talking about when their daughter got their menstrual cycle and when their son first had a wet dream and all this kind of stuff. That is such a violation of personal boundaries. Why would you do that to your kid? Do you know how humiliating that is? Why would you do that? And not to mention all the stuff they put on social media, the kids getting, humiliated, their head shaved and all this other stuff. What the fuck are you thinking? Why would you do that to your child? You act like you hate those kids. You just like, that shit stays online forever. And you put their name and their face and your name and everything so people can find that shit 50 years from now. It'll still be online. And your kid will just be like humiliated over and over and over again. What are you doing? Oh my God. And then you wonder why your kid hates you and why your kid is violent and goes shooting up places and stuff. Y'all just don't be thinking. Extension cords, yeah, that was common. That was common, but it was like open up people's flesh and stuff. So then you got to charge for child abuse. They ain't be playing. You can't be beating on your kids like that. Leaving bruises and shit, whelps and whatnot, requiring stitches. Like that pro football player who beat on his little 3-year-old that time. The little boy had to get stitches and stuff. Remember that? I was like, what would make a grown man hit on a kid? Grown men should never hit children. That's another thing. Don't hit kids. You guys don't know your own strength. Don't do that. She told her whole company, see, no, violation. Ooh, that is just terrible. But this whole conversation is about really, what not to do as well as what to do to help your child, to build your child's confidence, to build your child's self-esteem. And it starts early, you know. Just like they finally learn to crawl. Oh my God, baby, you're just so good. Look at you, you're so good, such a good crawler. You came to mommy. You start this shit starts early when your kid learns to eat by themselves. You're such a good eater with your spoon. You hardly spill anything, or maybe they don't spill anything, or maybe they spill a lot, but you still say they're a good eater with their spoon. Or you're trying so hard to learn with your spoon. You're just doing so well. You're just trying so hard. Acknowledge their attempts at it, even if they're not good, because you want them to feel like I can keep trying even if I don't do it well. It's okay for me to fail. It's okay for me not to be perfect. It's okay for me not to be the best. I still did a good job because I gave it my all and I tried my best. That's the message you want to communicate to your child. Every kid's not going to be a straight A student. Every child's not going to be in AP classes. Some kids are going to barely make it through biology and geometry and all of that kind of stuff because their brains don't work like that. But your child has some other talents and abilities. Figure out what those talents or abilities are and then push your child into that so they can shine. That's how you help them become a better person. You recognize their talents and skills, and then you embrace those, and you direct them to where they can utilize those to help themselves do best in life. So your mother's raised, yeah, I wouldn't have much relation with somebody like that. That's somebody you can't trust. You can't tell them nothing because they're going to be telling the fucking world. That's a straight violation, girl. I'm so sorry that she did that to you. And then you got like old men knowing, you know what I mean? That's just nasty. These dudes, you can't be trusting these people. The next thing you know, no. I mean, I have a lot to say about that, but let me try to stay on topic. Now, how many of you tell your kids that you love them? I guess I'm lucky I come from a family because, like, my grandmother, it was like when we would come into her house, our greeting was you got a hug and a kiss, and when you left, you got a hug and a kiss. And all the aunts and uncles, unless you was mad at them, you gave them a hug and a kiss, just on the cheek. We didn't do any lips thing in my family, no kissing on the lips. And but that was how we greeted our elders. And there was always that with my grandmother, the big cushy hug, and she kissed you all over your face and everything. And so I grew up getting a lot of affection like that. And I didn't realize that other people didn't until I, got like in high school. I was like, what? Because I mean, that's all I saw. You're a little kid. You're only around your family, right? That's what you see. And it was just kind of interesting. But I really want people to, think about that. Even if you came from a family where you didn't give that kind of affection to each other, you can break that cycle too. Kids need to be touched. They need to be shown that they're loved, and they need to be told verbally. So you hug your kids, you kiss them, before they go off to school, and say, you go and have a successful day. I love you, and I'll see you later. Okay? What did that? How many? What took me? What? 3 seconds? But you know what a difference that makes to your kid? You can put a little note in their lunchbox. You're the best kid. Mom loves you. Something like that. Dad loves you. We're going to have a great time this weekend. Something like that. I mean, something to, again, to boost their little spirits up. Little shit like that. That's what I'm saying. Like in total, it probably takes you no more than an hour a day to do all of these things that I'm telling you. And it just changes your child's life. Changes their life. Yeah, they're good at something. We just have to figure out what it is. Everybody's not an academic. Some people are more creative. They might be really good at painting or drawing or, creative writing or, I don't know, clay pot, what they call that stuff, pot, they call clay working or whatever. People have different skills. Do a video on how your child can't trust you because the parents tell everything about them to everyone. What we were just talking about? Yeah, these parents, they be doing too much. Somebody was writing me, was that you? Somebody, I forgot about people putting stuff on social media about their kids, not their own children, about somebody else's children. And the woman didn't want her kids all over social media, but she had a relative who just insisted on doing it anyway. So I'm like, see, that's some dangerous shit right there, especially if they know the kid's school and stuff. That's high risk. I will definitely I try to remember to go through these chats and people have those kind of ideas. But I really encourage you guys to write me on survivingdating@gmail.com and just send them to me directly because I don't always have time to listen to each video and go through each chat like that. So, that's always what, you really want me to do something, send it to me in an email. So putting it in the chat is iffy because I may not ever see it, you know. Surviving, let me write it in here. That's my email. And send your topic suggestions there. Let me get finished with this. Okay, so you love your kids. People talk about unconditional love. It does that to a certain extent, but by the time your child, it's still your child, but your child becomes an adult, and your child does something egregious that you've taught your child not to do, like kill someone, sexually assault someone, um, injure some old person, or break it in or something, somebody gets seriously hurt and hospitalized or something like that. You didn't teach your child to do things like that. And what your child has done is violate every boundary that you've established, every rule that you've put up for your family, every moral and value that you've taught your child that has been just like kicked in the dust and thrown in your face. So a lot of parents like, what do? You still love your kid. Well, you do love your child. You love your child, but you also have to consider what's right and what's wrong, because your love should never interfere with your child getting the proper punishment that they deserve. And see, that's where some parents, they get confused. You still love your child. You're gonna, love your child. I mean, your child's gonna go to jail. Your child might get the death sentence, this and that. You can love your child, but does that mean that you have to go broke, running up prison phone bills and sending your child things in prison and stuff? No, it does not mean that, because your child chose to make a decision that was totally in opposite of what you have taught your child, in everything, every way, shape, and form. Your child went out on their own and did some bullshit. So as part of the lessons that you have taught your child, when you make decisions and when you do certain acts, you are really responsible for all repercussions behind those things. This follows there. Okay, so your child went out and killed somebody, robbed somebody, did rape somebody, did something like that. Okay, well, now everything that happens because you chose to do that, that's going to be on you. I don't have nothing to do with that. I'm going to love you, but I'm going to love you from over here, and my money going to stay in my pocket because I love my money over here too. See, you should have thought of all that before you decided to take that action. So now those are repercussions you're going to have to deal with on your own, son. I still love you, though. You see what I mean? Your love does not need to become codependent. And I think that's where a lot of parents get confused, and then they want to run interference and, making it seem like, they have to go through all these changes with the kid, and other kids in the family suffer, the family finances suffer, people lose their homes, their marriages dissolve. All kind of shit happens because this person decided to make a stupid decision, and then you want to codependently support them, in whatever's supposed to happen to them, and interfere with it and all this stuff, get them lawyers, hock your house and all this shit. I can't tell you how many women I know who lost their homes behind their raggedy ass sons using their homes as collateral for bail, and the sons didn't make the bail payments, and so the people came and took the house. So the lady, these are old women, and they out on the streets, and where the son's still acting a goddamn fool. Do you think if a youth commits a crime, should the parent go to jail? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The parents will be on the hook financially, though, for any kind of, what do they call those? Restitution that may be done. Like if a kid steals something and a dollar value, or breaks something valuable, something like that's going to have a dollar value associated with it that the people lost, the parents should be definitely on the hook for that. They've got to pay. And any medical bills, that's on you. You should, that's what happens. Now the parents shouldn't go to jail because, at a certain point, either the kid was really young and it was an accident, or the kid was really young and stupid. I mean, that's why we have minors, because we know that they're dumb. They don't understand anything. That's why they have to be under their parental control, because they're stupid. They're kids. They don't think shit through. They just react. But this is the whole point of this video, is for you to start teaching your child how to think things through, how to make decisions, how to, communicate and express themselves, and how for you to open the door so they can listen and tell you things, how to show them love and show them respect and show them attention and show them affection and show them that they're important to you. If that is done, not to the point where the child is overly indulged and spoiled brat and feels entitled, because those are the kids that tend to go out and do the most, like vile stuff, because they feel like, well, why not? What's going to happen to me? My dad will always come and save me, if no matter what I do. So, you don't want to establish that kind of thing. You definitely want them to understand cause and effect and actions and repercussions. They need to understand that. So don't run interference there. But, shit happens. Like your kid is driving and kids in the car and they didn't put on a seatbelt, and your kid gets in an accident, somebody flies through the window and dies. Okay, you saying the parent should go to jail for that? No. No. Don't do that. Yeah, until 25. Don't call the lawyer. That's right. Make them accountable. And make sure that you know that you're going to be paying for said lawyer too. Don't ask me for no money. I'm just giving you the card. That's a good idea though, because they get down in jail, like they get picked up, and most people start talking. You're not supposed to say a word. Don't say anything, because anything that they use that you say, they're gonna try to use it against you. Don't say shit. They say, "What's your name?" Don't say nothing. Just say you need an attorney, and then they're gonna have to get you one. Don't say nothing until you get your attorney. And that's something we need to teach our children too. Don't be mouthing off. Don't be, yeah, that bitch this and that. They shouldn't have this and that, blah, blah, blah. You telling on yourself. You confessing to the crime. Shut up. Keep your mouth closed. Don't say nothing till I get there with the attorney, and we'll sort this out. Now, if it turns out you did some shit, well, then me and the attorney is getting the fuck up out of there and walking off, and you just going to be figuring that out. But, a lot of shit happens, and it really is an accident and stuff. Shit happens. So you get the facts first. Um, and then the last thing that I want to remind you all is that you as parents, um, it's really important that you work on your own self-esteem. Like I said, if you're sick and injured, you can't really do too much for your kids. It's just not there for you. You just don't have it to give to them. So if you have some problems with your self-esteem and your self-worth, start at the beginning of this video where I talked about the parents, and see if any of those things apply to you, and then start working on those things on yourself. Once you become conscious of them, you can stop. Like you start thinking, oh, somebody presents an opportunity to you. Oh, I might not do well. I might fail. Okay, well now you know that that's negative self-talk, and you stop doing that. And you say, okay, what did I just say to myself? What the fuck did I say that shit for? And turn it around. But you have to be cognizant of it, and then you have to, hear it and see what you're doing, and then put the brakes on when you get ready to take yourself down that road. Just stop. So mine's not the opposite. I probably just be too extremely confident, because my thing is like, if you could do it, I could do it, and I could probably do it better than you. That's the way that I think about pretty much everything. Because there's just nothing in this world I think I can't learn. I might not know it right now, but just look at all this shit. Now, you guys know a couple of weeks ago, month, 6 weeks ago, whatever, 2 months ago, I didn't know any of the stuff that I'm doing now. I didn't know nothing about live streaming. Now I got my shit going. I could do you know what I mean? So it's like, if these dudes learn it, they putting that stuff together. They have this shit. If you could do it, then I could do it too. I just have to figure it out how to do it. But now I figured it out. So now we're going to move on to the next challenge, which is these live video interviews that I want to do. And that's how you keep your brain going, and that's how you build your confidence and self-esteem. Yeah, I fucked up a couple of times. There's videos that witness it. The sound was gone. I'm like, oh, what happened? People are like, I hear you, but I can't see. Oh, shit, what did I do? But I'm like, I'm laughing about it. I'm not letting that crush me and, make it seem like, oh, my God, I'm a total failure. Everything I do is so fucked up. I can't get anything right. Those are some of the messages that y'all be giving to yourselves. And I just be looking at you like, okay, so you fucked up one time. What you going to do? Just die? Or you going to get up and try again? There's only two choices. So you pick one. Mine is always to get up and try again. So, yeah, be able to admit your mistakes to your own kids, and Where is I made a new uh oh that's right. I wanted to how do I go to the next slide? Hold on a minute. Uh I wanted to go to the next slide here. Now I don't know how to do it. Oh no. Hell, I'm trying to figure it out. There's supposed to be a keyboard shortcut, and I don't remember what it is now. Right in the middle of the show. Oh, Deborah, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Well, anyway, I'll put the slide up at the end or in the descriptions. What I had was um, some resources for this guy, so I'll put them down in the bottom of the show description instead on the slide because I don't know what the fuck I don't know how to get to the next slide now. But it did some ideas for some websites and organizations that work with young men and young black men and um, help people, help fathers with their sons and help the boys, have a sense of self-esteem, get mentorship, develop their self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. So, um, but I'll put it in the show description page. We will be back on Tuesday with oh, here we go. Okay. We will be back on Tuesday with the Tell It Tuesday relationship advice. That will be on Tuesday. And I think that, if you have any advice questions in the interim that you want to get in there in time for Tuesday, send them on to survivingdating@gmail.com. And I'll be sure to consider them for publication in the Tuesday live stream. And then on Thursday, of course, we'll be back to Topic Thursday right here. So be here. Don't get lost. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, please become one. Hit the subscribe button. You can see it right down below. And click the bell symbol after you do that and become a subscriber. You can also participate in the Patreon support for this page. All this new equipment and everything we got around here was donated through my Patreon subscribers and the Super Chat donators. So I appreciate everybody's support. Thank you very much. And I want to say goodbye. Go out and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I will see you on Tuesday. Okay? Bye-bye.